In this video, we're going to be talking about the Canadian Securities Course. It was actually the first course that I ever took on the path to getting my license here in Canada. We'll actually go over to their website and take a look at the curriculum, and I'll see if I can give you guys any tips or any advice or wisdom that I could pass along just from me taking the course previously. So if that's something that interests you, I hope you guys enjoy. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, my name is Brandon. We post a video on investing and the stock market every week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Also, be sure to check out our Investing Academy. It's that first link down in the description below if you want to take a look at our membership group and our course. But getting on into today's video, I actually went out and found, I'm surprised I found it, but I found my old textbook for the CSC. And I say old, it's definitely, not sure if you can see it there, but it's pretty trashed. It has pages flinging out, and that's because this course, or this textbook, this issue is actually the December 2014 issue. So I took the course over 5 years ago, and I was actually doing some research, kind of like some digging online through their website to kind of prepare for this video. They actually have added a couple new features. They've kind of been upgrading the course every year. That said, I think for the most part, the bulk of it is going to be pretty much the same. So I'll see what I can pass along to you guys. I guess I'll start by saying the Canadian Securities Course. This is a course that you take typically if you're looking to work in the investment space. I had the goal of becoming an investment advisor. So the path that I had to take was taking the Canadian Securities Course, one called the CPH, the Conduct and Practices Handbook, something along the lines of that, and then the WME, the Wealth Management Essentials. And all of these courses are offered through CSI, the Canadian Securities Institute. And I will just mention right off the bat here, because I think this is important, I'm just sharing with you guys the route that I took, okay? This is my story, kind of my background on the route that I took. It's not to say that there aren't other ways, and maybe there's other ways that I don't even know about. So I'd actually encourage, if there's any of you guys at home who have experience, maybe you've taken a different path or you have any sort of experience to share, leave it down in the comment section below so that other people that are watching this video, they don't need to only learn from the route that I took. They can also hear some of your guys' stories as well. But basically, if your goal is to eventually work in the investment space or be an advisor one day, those are the 3 courses that I personally took. Now, I will just mention, once you finish those 3 courses, depending on what dealership you ultimately plan to work for, like once you got that, you're deciding where you want to apply or where you want to be licensed with, who you want to work with, those specific dealerships may have some unique requirements. Like take, for example, the dealership that I was licensed with, I had to take, I believe it was called the 90-day investment advisor training, something along the lines of that. I had to attend a workshop over in Ontario. Each dealership or each broker is going to have their unique requirements. So that's something that you should double check with whatever your plans are for the future. But at least for getting a starting base, the courses you'll be able to take can be done through CSI. And in just a second, we will go through a little overview of this course. I'll share with you guys my screen. We can take a look at the curriculum. I'll give you my thoughts, etc., etc. But I will just say, for anybody that's like brand new and you're kind of thinking about what path to take, I took the route of taking, like I said, the CSC, the CPH, and the WME. That was the path that I took. You can also get your license here in Canada by taking the route of taking the course, the IFC. Investment Funds in Canada, or Investment Funds of Canada. I haven't taken that route. A lot of times if you work at the bank, let's say like you're a teller and you want to upgrade your position, you want to advance to kind of like the financial department or the investment department, a lot of times they'll actually even pay for you to go out and take the coursework. Often you're going to be taking the route of the IFC rather than the CSC. Now, what's the difference between the two? If you take the route of the IFC, you're gonna be licensed to deal with mutual funds, versus if you take the CSC and the appropriate courses after, that does give you much more flexibility. If you actually look at the 2 paths, one of them is governed by IROC and then the other's governed by MFDA. So basically the mutual fund path or the securities path. And if you had to ask for my advice, if you do have the flexibility, I'd personally lean heavier towards the Canadian Securities route. And the Canadian Securities course is really that first step It's like that first stepping stone to getting your license and ultimately getting a better designation down the road. An example I can share with you guys here, if you take a look at this one called, if you take a look here under designations and you click on one like the Chartered Investment Manager, so the CIM, this is one of the more popular designations out there. As you can see here in this little pathway or this little process graphic they have here, the Canadian Securities Course is like that first step. It's one of the requirements along with the WME, the Wealth Management Essentials, and then a couple of other courses to get this specific designation. I'll show you just another example here. Let's say you go to Personal Financial Planner. I believe this used to be called Certified Financial Planners, a CFP, but as I checked today, it went to PFP. But regardless, you can see the designation here as well. It does require the Canadian Securities Course. It really is that first step in terms of working in the financial industry. And I guess we can move on there to what the course entails. Because it is that first step and it's kind of a requirement, like kind of like the core of your education, depending on what route you decide to take, it is kind of like a broad entry level course, I guess if I could put it that way. I actually went, like a background on myself, I went from studying kinesiology. I thought I wanted to be kind of in the sports science space. I went out and got my personal training license. So I had nothing to do with investing, like nothing to do with the stock market. And I did a complete flip, like a 180 switch or 180 flip, and I dived straight into the CSC. So it really was my first intro to the investing space. And what the course kind of sets out to do is just to give you a broad intro to the different areas of the investing market or the investing industry. It's not like you're going to be taking the course and by the end of it, you're going to have a thorough understanding of what it's like to be an investment advisor or what it's like to invest. It's really surface level. And then the next course kind of builds on that and so on and so on. And the idea is that by the end of your education, when you've kind of finished that process, you're going to have a good understanding. But the Canadian Securities Course, I would very much call it a beginner, an entry-level course. And as many of you guys probably do know, the course is split up into 2 exams. So here on your screen that you'll be looking at now, guys, these are just the different sections or the different chapters of the course. It is broken up into 2 textbooks. So you're actually going to be studying the first textbook, taking an exam 1, and then you're going to be moving on to the second textbook and taking an exam 2. That in whole is the Canadian Securities Course. And as you can see, you cover topics like the Canadian investment marketplace, Canadian securities capital markets, the regulatory environment, the economy. You talk about investment products. Like I said, very intro to the different types of products, debt, equity, derivatives. You look at financial statements, listing securities, investment analysis, portfolio analysis, and then analysis of managed and structured products, as well as working with the client. So that right there is the overall curriculum of the course. If I do remember correctly, the first exam that you're going to be taking is basically on the first half of this course. So taking like the first few chapters of the course, you take exam 1, then you move on to the second textbook, which is obviously the back part of this curriculum. It states here on the website that the approximate hours of study are somewhere along the lines of 135 to 200 hours. And this is, of course, a course that you can take on your own time. That's kind of what I like about it. It's not like you're in school for 4 years or you have a set schedule that you have to do. I took this course while I was working full time. I was working another job, just studying this in the evenings, and you can take however short or however long, that didn't come out right. You can take however much time you need to take the course, book the exam, you go into, I went to one of the universities around my local town. You sit down for, I believe it is a 2-hour exam. I actually thought it was 3-hour exam, but yeah, you sit down for a 2 or 3 hour exam and then you move on to the next one once you pass. I really do wish that I made this video like right after I had taken the course so I could give you guys so much more information, but fast forward 5 years, guys, this is so far behind me. I don't necessarily remember what was tough, what was easy. I do recall the second exam and the second textbook being a little more difficult. If you've taken the course, leave a comment down below. I remember at the time, I definitely found one harder than the other, but it's tough to remember now. I apologize for that. I believe it was the second volume. And actually just taking a look at it here, guys, the second exam starts from chapter 13. So if I were to put back up on the screen there, the curriculum for you guys, the first course would have from section 1 to section 4, with the last chapters being covered, the corporations and financial statements and financial listings. Reggie, get off the thing. Get off. Financial and listing securities being the last component of the first exam, and then sections 5, 6, 7, and 8, that is the second exam. And now that I think about it, that one was definitely the one that was kind of like a step up, a little more difficult than the first exam. But what I thought I wanted to share with you guys in terms of if you're looking to actually take the course and take the exam, Reggie, get off the thing, man. Get off. Love freaking table. Get off. If you're somebody that is looking to take the course, a couple pieces of advice that I can share with you guys. Definitely go to this exam weightings page, and it does show the split between the different chapters and how heavily emphasized they are on the course. It does look to be relatively even in terms of the split here, but obviously you want to spend more time focusing on the chapters that have a higher coverage in the course. You do need a financial calculator if you're going to be going through this course, just kind of like a little side one-off thing. But I will just show you guys here the cost if you haven't already seen this. And this is what I meant when I said, like, I think they added some new features, because when I took the course, they didn't have this value pack combo. I think what I simply signed up for was the online interactive versions with the online PDF along with the hard copy textbook. And obviously I have my textbook right here. It shows that you can basically save $100 by not getting the textbook. I personally like the textbook. Like, if you look through this, I have all sorts of highlights and notes. That's most efficient for me studying. But if you can do without the textbook, it shows here you can save $100. But this value pack combo, if I were to read here, your value pack combo is your all-in-one course and study tool package to set you up for success. In addition to the online interactive and hard copy textbook, you'll also get a full set of study tools, including the CSC check, CSC videos, financial investment calculation toolkit with financial calculator, financial statements, ratios, e-tutorials, macro and micro e-tutorial. So I can almost say for certain that that wasn't around when I took the course 5 years ago. Definitely seems to be something newer. But if money isn't an issue for you, maybe you're in a situation where somebody's paying for this course for you, I would definitely recommend to go for something like that. I took big advantages of the practice exams. I actually believe at the time I may have taken like a third-party practice exam for the CSC, because what I found was as you go through the modules online, you're going to log in, basically go through their back office or go through their dashboard kind of thing. A lot of the questions that you're going to go through, as with many courses, very, very similar to the actual exam. Now, obviously, you're not going to find the exact same questions, but I did notice for a number of those questions that I had done the exact question on the practice exam. They maybe just changed the name, right? Like, instead of John went out to buy this product, it was like Sally went out and buys this product. The numbers and names will slightly change, but what you do see on the practice exams, for the most part, you can kind of expect to see on the real exams. So definitely, if you have the opportunity to, I would say lean towards the value pack combo, or at least look for some sort of study guide that you could base your studies off of. I think that it will definitely really help. Hopefully that does give you a little bit of insight. I know that that's kind of like some pretty obvious stuff, but just take it from me, from someone who had never taken any financial courses, never really dove into space. It's not a hard course if you're willing to put the time in. I think all you need, the requirements are a 60% pass mark. It's something that you can very easily learn. But I will answer a question. I actually got an email from one of you guys asking whether it's worth it for the average investor to take this course. So if you're somebody that's not necessarily planning to work in the investment space, but you do just want to have a good understanding of like what it's like to be an investor, is this course worth it for you? I told them, to be honest, probably not. It's probably not worth it because, like I said, this is more or less designed as a stepping stone to getting your license here in Canada for working in the space. It's really tailored towards investment professionals. You learn a lot of stuff about regulations, about calculations, for example, which the average investor is really never going to have to learn or use. A lot of the calculations, like a lot of the numbers and ratios nowadays, you can easily get online. Any source, any third party or research platform that you use, they're going to have all that details or data for you. You're never going to find yourself in a situation where you actually have to go out and calculate like Sharpe ratios or like the future value or present value of bond yields. It's stuff that the average investor would never need to do. That said, it of course doesn't hurt, and I actually think it's quite important especially if you're going to be working in the space, to have an understanding of how that stuff works, like to kind of know behind the scenes why these calculations go a certain way. That is very important. It furthers and deepens your understanding. So for an advisor, sure, but for the average investor, because this course is spread so thin, like you learn about like mortgages, you learn about insurance, stuff that is important to know as an advisor, but for the average investor looking to invest in the stock market, a lot of irrelevant stuff. I mean, seriously, you're better off taking my course, which is basically a compiled and compact version of the actual useful stuff in this course. As with many courses, whether that be the CSC, whether that be any course out there, I'd say 70 to 80% of the stuff that you're reading here, you're not going to use on a day-to-day basis, right? It's important to know, you study it, you get it out of the way for the course, you write the exam, then you kind of forget about it. That's the case with many courses. So I guess to wrap up this video, I guess I'll share with you guys here. This is taken from their website. Who should enroll in this course? Enroll in the CSC if you're training to become a full-service investment advisor, investment representative, seeking your mutual fund license, dealing in alternative mutual funds for retail investors, seeking your exempt market representative license, bank or trust company officer, a financial planner, an active investor who wants to learn how to manage your portfolio. Like I said, that one's kind of like hit or miss there. Or seeking a position in the Canadian financial services industry. So to summarize that little section right there, like who is this course for? It's a good course for somebody that wants to work in the industry. If you don't have plans to work in the industry, honestly, like if you really have all the money in the world, you have all the free time, it clearly wouldn't hurt to take the course, but not necessary at all. In fact, I think the average investor would find a lot of it quite irrelevant and quite boring. That said, it is an easy course, so very much a entry-level course. I would actually suggest, if you're considering taking it, head over to the website. I'll link it down in the description for you guys below. You can take a look much deeper into the curriculum, see if that's something that interests you. I definitely enjoyed reading the second volume more. Like I said, now that I think about it, that one was much more focused on like the investment side of things, whereas the first one was more like regulations, like or regulatory stuff, kind of like the more boring stuff that you do need to know if you're going to be an advisor. But second volume definitely had more investment related stuff. Make sure that if you do go through the course, take advantage of all of the study materials, all of those toolkits and practice exams that you can, because I did find that they were very similar to the exam. Make sure that you're prepared, of course. There is no time frame on this, to remind you guys again. And in my opinion, as much as you probably do just want to rush through and get it over with, take your time, right? Make sure you understand the stuff so you can go into the test or the exam feeling confident. Go in there, nail it, go on to the next one. So the CSC, the CPH, the WME, that's the route that I personally took. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them down below. I don't know how well I will be able to answer them. Like I said, guys, I apologize. It was a while back that I took this course, but just as the general overview, like just my general thoughts that I can think back, not a difficult course, great entry-level course. I found a lot of the stuff to be useless. Not useless, but a lot of the stuff to be kind of borderline fringe relevant. You're not going to be using them on like your day-to-day work as an advisor, but it is important, right? It is important to kind of get that broad understanding of the financial markets, and that's pretty much what this course sets out to do. So again, that'll be linked down in the description below for you guys if you want to check it out. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, go take a look at our investment academy. If you are a retail investor, if you're an average investor that was thinking about taking this course because you want to learn, dead serious, the course that I'll be offering, in my opinion, my biased opinion, is a much better course. It'll give you a much better understanding of the actual important stuff when it comes to investing. But that'll be that link down in the description below, guys. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.